right. So how did the concept of Stone come about, and what do you want viewers to take away from this film?
Well, it was a script that I had that Valor, who starred in it, or we were working on it. And we were on Kanye's ranch. Kanye was doing what he was doing. And, there were a collective of us that had nothing to do. So we decided to be creative while we were waiting to, kick it with Kanye. So, Kanye flew my crew out on a private jet, and we prepped for a day. I had met Lucien and his man, and they were like hilarious to me. So in the mix of a lot of chaos, they were just really standing out as funny, and they were making me laugh just on a natural level. And I knew they had like a natural kind of a rhythm and swag. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna put y'all in a movie tomorrow. And I don't think what's your man's name? I just forgot his name.
Gene.
Huh? Gene.
Eugene, yeah.
Eugene. So he was supposed to star in the movie, but I guess he thought I was fucking around and had to go fly.
I thought she was fucking around.
He thought he had to go fly and feed the dog. So I was like, yo, we all at? And then we had to make a clutch audible, and we had the writer who was Valor star in it. And the rest was history. What I hope people get out of it is that they laugh. And that's really it. We just had fun. We shot it in 6 days, and we worked with what we had, and we came up with a great narrative, well shot. And we captured the energy and the spirit of what was going on that ranch. It was like bottling up the funniness that was happening while we were out there in a certain kind of way. But also it was cool to see where Kanye came from and his roots, the people that he grew up with, that he keeps around him when he's, may feel like he's going through it. Mm-hmm. And, the fact that everyone has strengths and a creative and a sense of humor, being funny. People tend to think that, I'm serious most of the time. And that's, quite the contrary. I just serious when I got to fight. But, the same kind of situation happened with Kevin Hart. I saw him on the stage and say, yo, I'm gonna put you in a movie tomorrow. And I did it. So, it's kind of like when I see funny, I know funny because it's hard to make me laugh because I'm a funny guy. And Lucien is funny. He's straight up funny. And then also the chemistry between Lucien and Valor, on some like extreme white boy shit and some extreme Chicago, cultural difference. I think the common ground is really funny. So it's not just like an urban flick. I want to have like one of the next, stoner flicks. Uh-huh. I smoke, you know what I mean? So it's funny. It's a stoner flick. I want them to be talking about it next to How High. And, the other ones like, what's the other ones? Half Baked, Super Bad, all that. So it's one of them flicks that you smoke some weed, you just laugh. And have fun.
So whose acting in the film surprised you the most?
Whose acting surprised me? Mm-hmm. The thing is, when people, when I always have a feeling that someone could show up, or else I wouldn't do it. So I would say the chemistry. What was funny was, because all right, we all know Lucien's funny, but every now and again, Valor would catch him with a left hook or overhand right, like a funny one that would floor us all. Like when he called them Tupac, whatever. What he called them? What he called them?
Vanilla Tupac.
He called them Vanilla Tupac. That shit
cleared everything.
The timing, I think, what was the acting together and the timing was surprising. Lucien had a good. He almost was like he was in the movie before. So he had a good memory and he had good timing. But again, I had suspected that he would. So I can't say I was surprised. Uh-huh. But you would be surprised how many people that aren't trained in a traditional way are better than people that are.
Yeah.
First crack at it.
For sure.
So I know you can't like contrive funny. It's a natural thing. Right. It's a timing thing. And also being able to they were able to, at the end of the day, write and make sure that the script was tight and rehearsed for the next day. So I was also happy about that. There were a lot of scenes because I had to deal with things on the ranch. Were directed without me. Like I'd be like, just set the scene up, and they did it. And I was happy with certain scenes that I wasn't there for.
So I know that both of you all are passionate about more Black people entering the cannabis space. So what is the first steps for people who are not educated about the cannabis field? Like, how can more people get into it?
Well, it's literacy. It's being educated, looking at the states and the timing in which they're going to get legalized and what you have to do, and then understanding the programs that could be set up for you to fail if you're not prepared. So, my intention is for new ways for us to make money, for us not to get left out, to make sure that it gets translated in a language that doesn't trigger us, that we understand, and make sure that these opportunities, we know them, because there's nothing better than a government contract, and they're willing to help as well. But again, that help could be like, a disaster and a blessing, because if you're not prepared, the only thing you could do is sell your license, or somebody's going, or you end up just giving it up.
That's true.
Aligning yourself with people that are doing it. I mean, of course, we know the difficulties of especially just Black people trying to enter that industry, right? So I mean, go outside of your circle sometimes, make yourself uncomfortable, kind of getting that information from people who've been doing it. People. I mean, there's a bunch of companies out here that are doing it. Sometimes, you just gotta kind of align yourself with those who've been doing it. And
selling weed legal sucks. It's not like selling illegal weed, and it's not built for someone that did it illegally to be able to do it moving forward.
Right.
So they make it complicated so that the average drug dealer can't do it.
Right. You're not just jumping in the weed industry straight from the street. This is a whole bunch of
it's the microbials. You got to be clean. It's the seed to sale. You got to buy everything before you even get approved. It's a 3 or 4 year wait. It ain't built for somebody that's used to a quick flip.
Right.
Deep. So Lucien, how was it intense, rather, shooting this film in 8 days?
It wasn't.
That was 6 days.
Yeah, it was 6 days.
Okay.
Intense in the scope of, just constantly working. But I mean, if you're doing something that you really like to do, there's really no intensity. You know what I'm saying? When you're put in a situation where there's no tension, then, it doesn't really get intense. I mean, as far as intense, it's in the scenes, it was, they told me to act myself. And I asked them, are you sure? Are you sure you want me to do this? And take off. And we just took off, man. And, we like Dame said, man, the alignment in characters and, just in each other's personality, it was really on point. And you got to think that this is our first time meeting each other as well. So not only trying to, make it work on screen. I mean, we're trying to figure each other's personalities out, before they even, saying roll them, so we just, I mean, it was dope. But again,
you didn't have too much time to think about it. It was like, we shoot tomorrow, and we started shooting as soon as the crew came, we shot.
Yeah, but it was a fun time. Like he said, it was super fun. I enjoyed myself on camera, off camera, just being with the, with the guys, man. And I mean, hey, we've established relationships. So man, I appreciate everybody. I do. It was a fun deal. It's fun deal. I have fun.
So what was it like being in a rap group with Ye?
I mean, you know what I'm saying? The rapper in me says you need to ask him what was it like being in a rap group with me. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, Kanye's he's always been a creative. We're creatives, and this is what we do. We're artists. And it was dope being around an artist. First of all, it was so young, it was just so driven. Purpose was his purpose. It's like Stevie Wonder. You know what Stevie Wonder was going to be when he grew up, so it's kind of like working with one of those. And I mean, we were friends. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we were young kids, so we just didn't have hip hop in common. We was also growing up, kind of learning our way around the world, navigating childhood and all that. And I mean, it's my friend. You know what I'm saying? That's about the most I can say. It's my friend, and I love him. So.
I love that. So Dame, what advice would you push the envelope so much? I love that you're an innovator and a disruptor, and you've done so much in hip hop and beyond. What advice would you give to up and coming executives and entrepreneurs?
So executives that work for entrepreneurs or executives that work for themselves?
Dang, that's a good one. I guess I was thinking executives that work for someone and then entrepreneurs on the side, like executives that may work for in the music industry or in fashion, but they work for someone else.
I would say understand that industry is not built for us as a culture. It doesn't behoove us. And usually in that industry, we're looked at as a figurehead, but not really actually the one that can make the decisions. So if you're going to be in those situations, make sure that you take the Rolodex, make sure that you get all poaching, pick their brain. And while you're doing something for them, have something tangible that you can also sell for yourself when they're done. But the only reason for fucking with them should be for them to carry whatever you're doing. But don't depend on that. Because if you think that that's going to make you safe, if that's going to make you feel independent, dependence on somebody else is the most unsafe thing on the planet.
Yeah.
It's the worst form of security. It's the biggest form of insecurity, is having to move when someone tells you to, or not being able to move when someone says you can't, and not getting paid for it, not owning it, not being able to pass anything you're working for to your children. All that seems like a program. And if you want to do or get a different result, the only way possible is to do it different, period. So if you're wondering why you're still doing the same thing and you don't feel good about it and you feel anxiety because you feel you should be further, then you got to change up your program. And everything that you do, you got to do it different. And I switch up my program often.
You do. So who are some artists that both of you guys are paying attention to right now that you feel like are changing the game?
New artists or just any kind of artists?
New artists.
I'm going to pass on that question because I'm 51. You know what I'm saying? But, I know what my daughters, Yeet and all that, I know all the young cats, but it's hard to hear the experience of someone young knowing how much it's going to hurt them when they're older without trying to help. So you kind of have to let the youngins be the youngins. I don't even try to understand it. But, I'm 51. The one that's hot right now is 16. I don't know who he is, but he fly. And he's wearing big ass baggy jeans right now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm mad younger than Dame, so
even though we don't look it.
But for real, I mean, who I'm paying attention to now, I mean, hip hop is nostalgic for me. I don't want to label myself as a traditionalist or anything, but hip hop, I look for a certain field because of, the era we came from. So Benny the Butcher, all the whole Griselda.
He's not new.
Hey, he is. He's fairly
not emerging. You old. They came out like 3 years ago. What are you talking about? He said a new artist.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the artists that don't have jury yet.
No, I don't even know artists that don't have jury.
Exactly. She want to know
they can have jury.
That means they already came up. Up and coming mean you trying to get there.
But they getting it so fast now. They just breaking out now.
Right. Up and coming. That means you're about to break. Not you already broke. That means you're about to do your thing. So it's on the verge.
Up and coming. All you gotta do is hop on YouTube, and that's up and coming. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't want what I would consider up and coming is probably different from what the youth consider up and coming.
That's because you old.
Hey man.
I was born just like an old nigga.
Well, I was born in the 70s, not unlike some of us. You know what I'm saying?
You look like you was born in the 60s.
Yeah, with you.
I wasn't born in the 60s.
Yeah, you was, bro. You was born.
I wasn't. Go ahead.
Baby boomer.
So Dave, you've been able to accomplish so much. What, if any, what do you look back on that blows your mind? Like, what's one thing that you've done so much, you tap into so much, and you've had longevity in different spaces, but what's like one thing that you like, wow, can you believe that? Can you believe I did that?
Mm-mm. See, the thing is, I think I'm unbelievable. So I don't believe none of the shit I do. I know I'm a superhero. I recognize that I'm that man. I think being a single father and raising my son Boogie on my own while running Rockefeller was something that really bugged me out in hindsight. Like, it was normal to me, but being a single dad and you know, picking my son up from school, but also making sure that everything was going right at that level, I thought was very interesting. You know, I think the fact that right now it bugs me out that in this very moment, I got a comedy, which is Stone. I have a drama, The Prince of Detroit. I have a comic book done. I have a kid's book that Rocky did, Apple Fish, a whole network. I have American New Magazine, and I have the Dame Dash Studios app, all at one time. This isn't like I'm about to do it. It's all done. So in the moment, I'm amazed with myself as a company, and I do all these different things completely independent, and also being able to take care of myself, to take care of my children and my family, you know, to eat the food I kill and have enough to really still make sure everyone else is full, is an accomplishment. What really bugged me out about me is that I decided, fuck the money, I'm gonna do it for the art. And I became a terrible businessman and a great artist. And being able to find that common ground to do both. I amaze myself all day. So, you know, I every day, trust me, I do appreciate the things that I'm doing, because I know I'm doing things that people don't. And I'm a reflector. I look at the things I do so I don't make the same mistakes twice, or I can do it better the next time. So I'm always looking at, well, what does that look like to the average person? Like, when you hear Damon directs a movie, it's not a big deal. You know, some people only direct movies. You know what I'm saying? I direct a movie, act in a movie, write a movie, have a television network, have a magazine, be in a rock group. That's also pretty amazing too, that I'm in a rock group and nobody's laughing. That's bugging me out. You know what I'm saying? I thought I'd at least get some jokes. But, you know, just all the stuff is just fun to me. To be current at 51 and still be inspired, to still be relevant, to still be crispy, to still be doing new things. Like, the one thing I've always been scared of is, and no disrespect to anyone that's got there, but being that type of a performer or artist that once you hit a certain peak, you only perform your old songs. You don't perform the songs you made last week or last month. You perform the songs you made the last 10 years ago, and that's your hit record. I like my hit records to be current. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do my greatest hits. I have more hits to come. So I just love to be inspired and do new things and be able to recognize talent fast. So, you know, more than likely, based on the algorithm, you know, when I put somebody in a movie, they usually blow up and they end up being a Kevin Hart or somebody. So, you know, being able to discover Lucien when he's like 65, now it's like, being able to develop Lucien, you know, and when I'm 51 and a new talent and be able to activate, you know, I'm still inspired, and I'm happy about that.
I love that. And then lastly, rapid fire style. I need this from both of you. Who are your top 5 favorite rappers, dead or alive?
Can't do it.
Can't do it?
I've been around too long.
I know. That's what makes it even better.
Every decade, I like a different rapper.
That's fine. Reasons. What's your favorite today? Who are your top 5?
It's like asking me who's my top 5 children, like who's my top 3 kids. I can't do it. Hip hop is like family to me. So I can't just tell you who I love the most. I love them all equal.
And you go 1 through 3. You can't even really put them in a 1 through 3 order. 4
well,
and 5.
In no order. So if you had to give 5 in no order.
I couldn't give you top 5 because I'd leave somebody out, and then I'd
of course, that's how it goes, though.
We'd always have this list. We'd have to fuck with this list. You know what I'm saying? Once a week, because you know what I'm saying. I might have heard some shit that you know what I mean. Like back in the so I can't give you 1 through 5. I just tell you anybody that take the time to think about their rhymes and that's dope. I fuck with them. I fuck with him. Put it like
I'm
that.
gonna let you guys off the hook.
Who's your top 5?
It changes, so it's hard. So okay,
Are you saying the same exact thing we
I'm about
said?
to tell you though. I'm about to tell you. But if I had to give one today, it changes. But and it's not in any order, and it's gonna be some wild cards. I would say
You saying exactly what Lucien said to the letter.
I know, but I'm gonna give you one still. But it could change. It's hard because I can only pick 5. I'm gonna cheat too, so I'm gonna say for me, Pac. I'm gonna tie Jay and Big. So I'm cheating already.
All right, that's freeze.
Kim.
5.
No, I'm cheating. I'm tying Big and Jay, and then Wayne. And the one that most people wouldn't expect is Jeezy, come from the South. So I think what I like getting people's list is how it impacted you. So that's why it's subjective to who, and it's like, you see my whole wall is music. And so it's hard to put 5 people, but
my favorite MCs are people who've been themselves. You know what I'm saying? That stay true to themselves. They're different because they're not trying to be, they stand out because they're themselves. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's what's missing today. Everybody's
we should send them your record that we made at the screening. You made your last record.
I didn't give Foxy. I don't think Foxy gets talked about enough. I love Foxy.
Yo, but Lucien just made a new record.
Yes, you should send it to me.
I didn't make no new record. Sending you off. He's lying, just like he's lying about me being old. Don't worry about it.
I didn't say you was old. I said you look old, nigga. But I was saying.
But nah, for real, like being yourself, that's the dopest MC trait in my that's the dopest thing the artist can do is be themselves. That's how I got my role.
I still want to hear y'all list today. Today's list. It could change tomorrow. It's supposed to be hard because you can only pick 5.
Now, pick 5 or what? Take a shot of some liquor or what? I mean, what?
It invokes too much conversation. It'd be like, I don't want to argue with nobody over that shit. I'd be like, whatever. And I don't want to, honestly, a lot of the people that are my favorites, I know them personally. So, I don't want to miss out and be like, oh yeah, I forgot to, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I can tell you as far as impact, as far as on a personal level, when I think the person that I'm most impressed with that I hung out with, and that was my friend, is Biggie Smalls. So the fact that he said my name in records and the fact that I got to kick it with him, when I look back on rappers that I think like the time, him and Pimp C, those times that I got to spend with them, those were like, well, I'm like, yo, those are the most legendary moments of my life, was hanging out with the people that most people didn't get to hang out with that aren't here.